righteous and prosperous. You must be just and courageous. Evil will always do what evil do. Caesar loves your money, God loves you.
Oh, I asked him.
Unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's. Render unto God the things of God. Give Caesar his money or perish by his sword. Then get on your knees and praise the Lord. To you scribes and Pharisees, you pay tithes, enemies. Therefore I won't help you break the law. Render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's. Render unto God the things of God.
That we can give people this kind of information. We can't just tell the public. They have to come to the webinar to understand.
The laws of the land simply must be obeyed. Do not despair, don't be afraid. 2 sparrows are sold for 1 cup of coin. In heaven there is no fee to join. A camel can pass through a needle's eye, but no rich man joins heaven on high. It profits you not to gain the whole world and then suffer the loss of your soul. Render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's. Render unto God the things of God. Give Caesar his money or perish by his sword. Then get on your knees and praise the Lord. He knew they were hypocrites, hell-bent on doing wickedness. And just like it stated, Jesus said, render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's. Render unto God the things of God. For preciously, Caesar want money from everybody. Sing hallelujah. Oh, God the heavenly one wants your love and devotion. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. Obey my commandment. Keep the Lord's covenant. Be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. Covetousness is not really love. The avarice of Caesar won't last at all. Assuredly will be his downfall. Because money is the root of all evil. Just follow me of your own free will. Live by the sword and you'll die by the sword. The righteous of God gets a reward. Render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's. Render unto God the things of God. Give Caesar his money or perish by his sword. Then get on your knees and praise the Lord. Entanglement is your game, but you wouldn't blame. It's Jesus' name. What the law said, you simply must obey. Render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's. Render unto God the things of God. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Blessed is his name. The things of Caesar. Render to God. Praise the Lord. He loves all his people. Render to Caesar. The things of Caesar. Render to God. Praise the Lord. Render to Caesar. The things of Caesar. For eternity. Render to God. Praise the Lord. Satisfying. Render to Caesar. The things of Caesar. Glorifying. Saltfish stew is what I like. So do. Give me day and night. I like your food, so don't find me rude. My favorite, I show every man in here already Saltfish, nothing in the world sweeter than saltfish. English cod or local Bajan. Saltfish, it's sweeter than meat. When you out to eat, all saltfish sweet.
Hello. This is Zero. Texas boy.
Very well, I like the taste, though the smell sometimes out of place. It's hard to take, but make no mistake, I want you to know, it's because it's extra sweet, it's smelling so boy. Saltfish, big money does run behind it. Saltfish, one does the young man to find it. Saltfish, it's sweeter than meat. When you out to eat, all saltfish sweet. Some like it hot, some like it cold. No matter what, partaking young or old. When it's served with wine, man, just chew it fine. Put no pepper. The bone in the second turned up be sweet like sugar. Saltfish. Some men does get drunk to taste it. Some does go and hide to fix it. It's sweeter than meat. When you out to eat, all saltfish sweet.
No, here's the video. Okay, so the video is you can still talk to Okay.
I would die a happy man if I close my eye with peace in me.
What's the smallest column you got here?
In the cemetery, any morning, with a saltfish picture on my tombstone saying, Sparrow was his greatest lover. He even adored the woman. It's sweeter than meat. When you out to eat, all saltfish sweet.
Why do I keep fooling myself when I know you love someone else? Only a fool breaks his own heart. I pretend that I don't see when you walk with him down the street. Only a fool breaks his own heart. I have to admit it, even though you hurt me so, girl. I can't forget it. If I'm a man, I'd let you go. It's no use trying to hang on to a love already gone. Only a fool breaks his own heart. I have to admit it, even though you hurt me so, girl, I can't forget it. If I'm a man, I'd let you go. It's no use trying to hang on to a love already gone. Only a fool breaks his own heart. Only a fool.
Good morning, Tex. Good morning, Delbert. Welcome to Caribbean Connections, Greater Kaiku and Philip Martinic and the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. This is Gemfm. I'm your host, the Sheriff, yours truly, John Cass, alongside my beautiful people, Delbert, Tex, and one was missing. But not here. Okay. Louis will be joining us with Mr. Robert White from the Northern Parish of St. Patrick's. Yes, and they will be talking with Greater Heritage Theatre. Yes, Greater, the Heritage Theatre of Greater. They will be here, represented by Mr. Robert White. Well, in the meantime, between then, there are lots of stuff that has been taking place over the week. One of which, of course, is the Mighty Sparrow. He dead again. That's what they were saying. Sparrow dead. But I have a recording with him alive. I will play later on today. And this is his song. The Mighty Sparrow. Never dead. Never dead. He is hard to death, can dead, would never die. I think he's a chosen man to stay alive. One raw that tastes so good. He wanted more. Checks, you know this guy behind my back here? You know this guy?
Yeah, that's your first cousin?
In the world.
Huh?
From Africa. Mr. Mansa.
Oh, yeah, that's my cousin. That's my cousin.
Never hit a right meat yet. Who Text, can I explain this song for you later on?
Listen.
Who they home? Who they home? Who they home?
Oh, who they home?
Who they? Just taking place.
I have something to say. I have something to say.
Go ahead.
The thing is, a good friend of mine is looking well this morning. Very handsome, very put together. Shirt is iron. My friend is in the house.
All right.
That's all I'm saying. My friend home.
I think he had envy the Congo man a little bit too much.
I'm telling you, my friend, well groomed, put together. Basket of flowers on the side of him. That was never there.
He had a visitation from above or across?
Across the mile.
I am not taking that bait. I am not taking that bait. I'm staying quiet.
I can't hear you.
I'm not taking that bait. I'm staying quiet. Let me get my headphone. Let me get my...
Okay.
Tie them up and put them to lay down on the ground. Light up the fire and he started dancing round and round. One of the women started to beg. He bites it on the chest and then he catch it on she leg. Itchy raw. I envy the Congo man. I wish it was me. I want to shake his hand. He eat until his stomach upset. What about you? The next one started screaming.
All right, all right. Let me just pause for a cause right here. And I welcome every one of our viewers, listeners around the world. Those of you listening on the radio, those of you listening, watching on Facebook. This show is brought to you by Cookies Pastry right out there in Grenville and Ben Jones Street, St. Andrews. So go out there this morning, go out there today sometime. And not only pastries, but they got like a chicken and like a saltfish thing, all kinds of stuff going on in that place. Go sit down, have a eat, a treat, and just let them know that you hold it on Gemfm. This is Gemfm bringing you live broadcast from here in Toronto, the 6th. Yes, the 6th. The true north, the white north. Yes, and we're white as ever out here today, and it's cold, minus 14. Yes, and counting
It's
with the
not
wind chill.
cold.
Text, go back in St. George's, eh? She's a
It's
St.
not
George's lady.
cold.
Tex don't like winter, summer. She loves winter, so it's not cool. No, it's not cool for her. But we had 2 shootings in the last couple of days in Toronto, and young people, keep your guns. I don't know where they're getting the guns from. There is shooting taking place last night. A guy gets shot up again and died on the scene. 14-year-old shooter, 18-year-old, a 13-year-old killer, 15-year-old. The guns are coming out from everywhere and blazing in the city. And I just wish that some people could take responsibility for these guns. Nobody is taking responsibility for the guns, and too much of it happening now. This is a ridiculous, more and more ridiculous in
They have
Toronto.
to jail the kids. You see, they don't want to jail the kids because of the age. And they're not going to charge them because of the age. They're lenient. But if they start putting them in a big boys jail, if you're able to shoot, you should go to the big boys jail.
Yeah, I don't understand
They're
why.
not
I mean,
doing that.
too
Until
much,
they
too
start
much, too
doing
much.
that, it wouldn't
crazy.
change. It's just a
Too much.
slap on the wrist. So that so the real people that really want to do things, they're gonna give it to the little children.
Oh my God.
That's basically
so much.
what's happening.
Well, you know, it's sad, and people losing their life, and for nonsensical things like a thing that or not supposed to be
The
it.
law
And,
gotta
you know,
change.
good morning, Doris. Good morning. And it's getting worse. The city is crazy, and well, apart from the shooting, there's a lot of winter, and then the traffic. The truckers, the head of the trucking group there got arrested, and the government saying the emergency pause laws is not for the general public, it's only for the truckers. So they why I'm getting all this bloop. Yeah, I got to have this notification somewhere. However, they're saying that it's not the emergency pause. Can go about living their lives as usual. There's nothing wrong. It's not affecting the Charter of Rights. It's just addressing the present trucking situation with the blocking up the flow of goods and services and disturbing the lives of people. Well, that is one thing, but that ain't gonna happen. Going to shut down anytime soon. There's a lot of problems going around the nation as regards to those things. On the other front, Mr. Michael Battis is running for the GULP. Mr. Devon Forrester. Denison Forrester is running in the Northeast constituency. That is a big one. I love in that one. It's a lot of things. You know, he has been doing a lot of work prior to deciding to run for office. He is doing that, and I see the NDC has launched even of the 15 seats candidates to contest in the upcoming election. They're pretty young, and I think everybody deserves a chance. And experience, I don't know too much about the experience because the Green Machine had some inexperienced people too. And they're still in power 10 years later. They're still here. Yay! My good Francis, hello, Senorita. Welcome. Hola. Yeah, so all of this stuff, the age to me, age is just a number. All right, so young people, old people, they're mixing the crew. I see Delbert Buddy, Mr. What's his name again? Running, and I always thought he'd be a good candidate to run in the St. Patrick's Northwest. What's his name again? Delbert, help me out here. I think you muted Delbert.
Sorry. You're talking about Andal.
Andal. Yeah, get enough feedback from Delbert. Yeah, so Mr. Andal is running. I love that. I loving that one. So a number of things are happening. And I see they have Miss the lady Claudette is in the song of St. George's. I don't know how she and Peter go work that out. They go do a romantic dance with that one. So that is interesting to see what happened, Peter and Miss Lady this time around.
But there's no guarantee that Peter would run this time around.
Yeah, that's it. That's the other thing. So we don't know. So we'll see what's gonna happen. That's saying gotta be a romantic dance between she and Peter. We don't know who's gonna dance on the floor when the music start playing.
I was told that there was some overtures made to him to sit this one.
Really? Wow. Well, we'll see what's gonna happen here and see what's gonna change in that arena. However, so that is that. We see that let's see what the entire cast gonna be like before we make any comment about that. I want to see total cast. And they'll be featured in Gemfm magazine anyways. I start putting them up already. I want to see by the end of the week so I could put in the other fifth, the other 8. Yeah, is it 6, 7, 7, 14? Yeah. So we have
But I'm afraid we now have adopted the American system of a permanent election cycle.
Well,
what is the incentive for the Prime Minister to call an election right now? He really doesn't have any incentive to do it.
No, you could sit down and see. I don't care when he call it. Whatever he call it, just hope that NDC is ready, fully ready to go. So that's what I'm saying. My anxiety is that come on, hurry up, get all the candidates together, and hit the ground as hard as possible. That's my thing. But the Prime Minister call it today or tomorrow. I think he's playing. Want to play fair, letting them put the team together because you don't want to run against no horse in the race. You don't want to be the only horse running. So you want to make sure that they're ready, steady, and when the gun go off, everybody running. So I think giving them a fair chance to put their horse in order, and I think that's a good thing. Give them a round of applause for that. PM is giving them that. But I want to see NDC, and a lot of people crying for. Black people have a song, A lot of people crying out for change, but many wouldn't help to rearrange. In any endeavor, how to prosper. Yeah? Or to work together. So let's see what happens. It's looking interesting coming up. But before we go any further, Louis is here. Good afternoon. Good day, Louis. Noel Ambrose from Event 2B. She's here with us today, and she'll be doing the spearheading of this talk with Mr. Robert White from the Heritage Theatre of Grenada. I'm trying to download the advertisement that the thing about just Facebook is not telling me to go ahead with it. So I don't know what's happening. I don't find a way around Facebook to do that. However, we'll be having that. On top of that, I love my background. You love my background? It's beautiful. African Heritage Month, right here. It's a nice one. I love it. Tex didn't get the text, so she didn't put on she dashed key today.
I'm so not talking to you today.
See, Louis get the text. Louis all wrapped up in an African outfit this morning. Yeah.
I'm always ready. I'm African 365.
See, there we go. There we go.
How are you doing, Louis? Good morning.
Good morning, my dear. Blessings.
Thank you.
Tex, Evis, tell us for the same good morning to you. We have our good friend Margaret, who is always looking for us from a distance. We wish she could be inside here with us. And
okay, let me.
Say hi to her. And Margaret and Doris is here as usual. Doris on every show, every show, and it's still in the leading for listener of the year. Doris is in the head. She's still pushing her. You know who's second in her? Veronica and Pamela. Yeah, they're doing good. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have to give out more than one award, viewers of the year at the end of the year this year, because I tell you something. Some people that you don't see them here, but they call me, John, what do you say yesterday about this thing? I want to know more information. I say, I didn't see you on the show. He said, I'm watching the show from a distance. I'm watching. So those of you watching the background and don't say nothing, come on, let's see you face. Let me see your face. Come on. There's some professors at Harvard who constantly watching this show. Please come on out and be part. Come on the show. Let me call you out and say something to you. And they're watching. Good morning. Those of you in England who watch the show consistently every day, they watch the text show and they say, this lady text is a fireball. You know what I mean? Yes. So those people in England love text. And there's some people from Malaysia, something like that. They say, this lady always talking. She always there. I love that. I love the fire she have. So they love the black lady that talk. Yes, they love that lady. And I said there's a lot of black people on the show. The only black people say, no, this black one, the one that talk all the time. That's the one they love. So they just loving text from Malaysia. Oh my God. So We have that going. So Gemfm is all over the world. People just pay attention to Gemfm, and they're trying to compare
Don't
Apple with
forget Nairobi.
Nairobi. Yes, Kenya is in Kenya
Yeah.
also. Oh my God.
Lagos is in the house too.
Lagos, yes.
Also Tanzania. I have a friend a class friend, and she lives in Tanzania right now.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, I need to bring her on. Tanzania could be in the house.
Yes, she's there. They have a lovely piece of property doing some farming. When I look at it, it's just like River Sally, where she's from.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's like I go, my goodness, this is Grenada. She go, yes. And actually they're also known as the spice world as well, because they do a lot of spices where they are.
Somebody's calling Gemfm. Robert Carlos Nurse.
Did you say Robert Nurse?
Yeah, Carlos Nurse. Yeah.
Carlos. Okay.
Hello,
I know Robert Nurse.
Gemfm, good morning. How can I help you? Gemfm.
Sheriff, how are you? It's Robert Nurse. Morning.
Oh, all right. Are we doing good?
Did you say Robert Nurse?
Robert Nurse.
Listen, I sent you a WhatsApp last night regarding a Zoom meeting.
Okay. All right. I'll check it. We're live on the radio right now, and this.
Tell him Louis said good morning.
Louis said good morning. I think Louis says. Okay. I will check the message in a while. Yes.
Louis is with you?
Yeah, she's on the live. She's on the live right now.
Okay. Tell her call me when she's done.
Okay. So what happened this evening? Let's say if you want other people to come in.
No, next Sunday.
Next Sunday for who? Anybody interested in the NDC group or whatever?
Yes, anybody interested in the group. We want to do an election also.
Election next week Sunday?
Yeah.
What time? What time would that be? Time?
5:30.
5:30 p.m.
5:30.
All right.
Send me your email and I'll send you the Zoom access.
Okay. All right. No problem.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. One love, my brother.
Bye.
Yes. So this was Robert Nuss, Carlos Nuss. Yes, from the NDC chapter Toronto. They're having an election and they have a meeting next Sunday afternoon. So Louise, you heard about that. So you don't have no excuse right now. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth, not from the donkey's. Horse's mouth. Right? So.
Do you want to know something?
Yes, tell us.
See that Mr. Nurse there? Mr. Nurse and I. I don't know if we're able to blip it out. No, it's okay. I won't say it out loud.
Yeah. You guys have a dance.
They will deny it. They will deny it.
You had a dance rehearsal together?
Huh?
You had a dance rehearsal together?
No. They will deny that because of our efforts in Toronto. The reason why Kid Mitchell got back into office.
John, the screen gone blank.
I deny it, but the thing is that we got proof.
Okay.
Moving on.
Come on. Go blank. No, the screen is right. It's fine. Oh, what happened to my screen? Let me see what happened here. Okay. My screen go blank. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay. So while the screen is blank, I will bring up something else in the meantime, my twin time, or for our sponsors for today's show. Cookies, Pastry Delight. Now, in the meantime, I want to play this for you. Because this week we hear Sparrow Dead. All over the place, Sparrow Dead. Yeah, you heard that? You heard that Sparrow Dead too?
Yeah, I did. And I would hope by now that, listen, Sparrow is a national treasure, an international treasure. Known for singing calypso, but the guy had an incredible voice. He could sing anything, he chose to sing calypso. I would hope that, and Trinidad has a really terrible record of dealing with that. They've done it with Bernard Julian, who was, I think, a couple of years ago, homeless on the streets in Trinidad and looking for help. And, a former great West Indian cricket player, national player for Trinidad, outstanding international player. So I would hope that the government of Trinidad has a plan in place for when the brother transitions, right? We hope it's not anytime soon.
I hope Grenada do the same.
And that his death, everything around him will be controlled. So something as traumatic for the nation as that would be, would be announced by the Prime Minister, that so we wouldn't have all these rumors flying.
Yes.
You know, we have to grow as nations, right? And one of the things that nations with strong institutions of governance and culture do is that when you have these iconic figures, you always have a sort of official statement coming from, you know, the Prime Minister's office or the Governor General's office or whoever it is. So they have to do better at that, and you know, that would help curb all the wild rumors and so forth. You know.
Well, you know,
it's unfortunate because this is about the 12th time I'm hearing that he's died. You know?
Yeah. Well, Sparrow
he shall outlive us all.
Huh?
Watch. He shall outlive us all.
Yes.
When you see that happening, that's what's going to happen. He will outlive us all.
Sparrow not going anyway. Sparrow not going anyway anytime soon. Yeah. Sparrow has been called dead for many years. I grew up a little boy in paradise, and then something went around. Sparrow dead. Everybody, Sparrow dead. Yeah. Well. Before I play his clip with a friend of his from St. Lucia, that's a live clip I was sent to me by B-Man. A phone call Sparrow had this week with sometime in February there. Around the 16th of February. He had a conversation with a brother from St. Lucia. I'll play it to you. But before I play that piece, I want to play this song for you.
I hear he had cancer, I hear he had yellow fever, something in his bladder, and a double dose of leukemia. Two gossip-mongers gossiping. I stand up in a corner listening. Before I could ask who they're talking about, and newspaper boys start to shout, "Hipper! Extra! Read all about it! Hipper! Yeah! Who killed the sparrow? Nobody knows." If you see this woman with a flag in she hand, she punching belly, telling everybody Sparrow dead. Who killed the sparrow? Nobody knows. According to Vicky, he was always looking sickly, so he went to England for a belly transplant operation. Is the woman that the pool up in BG? If she will walk over here on he, another newsmonger tell she no, is the devil take his soul for calling so hippa. Read all about it.
Sparrow, no.
Was able to cut himself, right?
Well, Big Mouth Lillian said the funeral was on television. She Vicky had cousin said they got cost 20,000. That is why he sell the company to pay the doctor and the burial fee while they talking up scum big belly and she. Well, the papers falling. Y'all only I see. Who killed the sparrow? Nobody knows. If you see this woman with a flag in she hand, she punching belly, telling everybody Sparrow dead. Who killed the sparrow? Nobody knows. Well, that was excitement, traffic jam, people block the pavement. If you see the comments, oi, everybody done by the express. People want to kill Chocolingo. Sparrow just landed in Piaco. This time the evening news led it on with another headline by Chester Morong.
Extra. Read all about it.
Read all about it. Who killed the sparrow? Nobody knows. Sparrow, if you see this woman with a flag in she hand, she punching belly, telling everybody, oh, who killed the sparrow? Nobody knows.
that was well composed after your death announcement.
What year did that come out?
That came out 1969, somewhere around there.
Yeah, because that's an old song.
That's about 12th time they've been announcing Sparrow a dead man. You know, and it's like it's still alive and kicking. You know, and it's amazing how people will come up with those things, and say that, and the man is still alive and well. You know, and I think people have to start, like I said, but have to let the government and some real high level dedication.
They need to put something in place. They need to put something in place to avoid this needless rumors, you know. So that when it happens, we would know officially, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It looks like he's been having fun with him dying for a long time. So I'm batting behind him. I'm staying close to him.
Well, Louis, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this rumor and this Sparrow himself?
Well, the first one I saw it, I go, here we go again. And I so happen to know that Junior George and himself are friends, and Junior visiting, you know, quite frequently. Says, Junior, Sparrow dead. You go, Louis, stop it. And then a few hours later, a picture came up with him and Sparrow in his home, right? And I go, thank you. And it's just ridiculous. I'm not sure why the fascination is on him. On that, and why we will want such an icon.
I don't know.
But I did hear a commentary from a radio broadcaster saying, okay, he's gone to the ancestors, but he will have to answer in terms of his behavior towards Grenada and not pushing Grenada in his early stages of his career. So
why?
Yes, no, and I was just taken back. I'm thinking, you know, should the person have passed away, why we were talking about answering to the ancestors. Just, you know, condolences and move on.
Parnat wasn't just a Grenadian; it was a Caribbean man. You
exactly.
And we have to stop doing this. My people. This one is Grenadian, and he represented the Caribbean, and I'm not only Caribbean, Africa, and
black people,
black people, you know.
Yes.
So
based on his songs that he sang,
he
sang about upliftment of the black people. You know, you name it, women. Well, I don't know about women empowerment because.
Well, you haven't given much to that, but you know, entertainer. He has given.
But he's a product of his era, right? So
we
you know,
can to the cross for that.
Expect him to have been this great promoter of women when that was not a thing then.
In that era,
it's a little bit unfair. It would have been nice.
Yes.
And I think, and I'm sure in later life he came to that realization.
Yes, point taken.
Yeah, so they
man, look at it.
Sparrow was bigger than Grenada. He was bigger than any one country. So he is. Now I'm saying he is bigger than any one country. And we all make personal choices, right? So
indeed,
because Sparrow is a famous Calypsonian, he has more obligation to Grenada than me or you. No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. You know? It's of himself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Look, Sparrow came to Grenada several times during the revolution. I remember that time I think I fall asleep on duty after going on watch the show, which I shouldn't go. I should stay to sleep during the day. I left. I went to the show. I mean, he alone put on a show. Nobody was boring. The show was great in Grenada. You know, he had been to Morris House several times, and you know, people don't understand. You don't have to always be in Grenada to be Grenadian. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely not.
And that's the thing that we try to nail people to the cross in one spot. You can't do that. Yeah? You have to let him be. Let the body fly free. You know? And be what he had to be. Look, he's one of the greatest West Indian. Remember the book, The Great West Indian?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That book has to be rewritten.
Yeah. Well, again, they brought up to that time. You know what I mean? Up to that time. We need a new book. We need a bigger book.
I don't like that term West Indian. I ain't no West Indian, man.
But that's what it is. But Delbert,
I
for
hate
whatever it
that
is,
term.
that's what it is. But at the same time, we understand that. But that's what it was. And
Yeah,
the book now today, I mean, we have evolved as a people. We have come to more consciousness of who we are as a people. You understand? The people who once
yeah,
control the narrative don't control the narrative anymore. You understand?
yeah,
So where all our books and all the people was doing stuff. For example, having a discussion this week about because I think Brian Graves wrote something up on the cover music that come out of Jamaica and blah 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 and boom all this stuff. I'm saying, the artists who sing this song, where as much as they might be responsible for the song, the promoters, the DJs who play the song on the radio is the one who really at fault in the end. Because if you approach me and say, like a young man approached me one time, but more than one, to play their songs on the radio, I said, let me hear. And how's that swear word? I said, clean it up and I played. It's a nice song. So I would not play this song with swear words in it. So clean it up. And if every DJ, every radio station would say that to those guys and them, the producers and the promoters of those songs would have to think otherwise. It wouldn't sell.
yeah.
You understand? So if I can't play a song in my mother's present, you don't want played on the radio.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, because if it have all this looseness and efforts and they call the women so and so beach and the be what beach come out anyways. That's what they do. I can't play it on the radio.
Yeah.
So I think what happened over the years, and Sparrow had a lot of good friends that are women. Look at Kaisa Rose. They are very good friends. Dennis Palmer, they are very good friends. Rich women, I think you respect them very much. So when you sing about Gina and Dinah, that song was not meant to be what it is. It get turned down from an advertisement. They can see advertisement and turn into a song. That's what creative people do. When you get what? I often say a rejection is not a no.
Absolutely.
People may reject you because they don't understand, and they might like what you do and how you say what you said. But doesn't mean a no. Rejection means somebody didn't understand you. Simple as that. They don't want to buy what you're selling right now. Doesn't mean they won't buy it later. So guess what? Gina and Diana become a song, and everybody, the same people who reject it, dance to it. You understand? So you give them a food, and they say, hey, this is a buffet. They say, no, give me a dish for myself. And that's what I did. Give them a dish. And that's the song today. So we have to be able to not box any artist in. And where women is concerned, I think Pastor has a lot of respect for women. But like you correctly said there, but the era in which he came out. What's happening here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to hear what Margaret is saying here. Margaret, I think the people who say that have no knowledge of how Grenadians behaved when they traveled in the 50s and 60s. It was quite a common thing to this own Grenada.
Yeah. Really. I knew people who traveled in the 80s and late 80s and 90s who said, that's it. I'm done with Grenada. I had a friend, he used to joke if he said, Del, I like bread, right? He said, but trust me, if I see Grenada written on bread, I'm stopping eating bread. I'm not going back in that place, So sometimes it's about, sometimes, poverty and other situations can affect how we feel about our homeland, right? So if you grew up, in those conditions where you were significantly less fortunate, it can have a negative, long-lasting effect on how you feel about your homeland. But the thing, by Sparrow's very nature and his international success, that already did enough for Grenada. He didn't need anything. He didn't need to do anything else.
Yeah.
Anything else he had done was icing on the cake. But a lot of times, what we have to be careful about is judging people of a particular era to today's standard. And we have to be careful.
Let me play the most recent voice recording of Sparrow as of the 16th of February. Here it is.
Hello.
Good evening, Dr. Slinger Francisco, the mighty Sparrow.
Good evening.
This is Lionel Ellis from St. Lucia. How are you, my buddy? You're laughing.
You mean to say it had to take aroma like that for you to call me?
No, I had your old number. You changed your number and you didn't tell me anything. So I've been calling your old number for months and months and months. It's only when I spoke to your sister. That's why. But when I heard the rumor, I called Rachel. And Rachel told me that you're fine. I said, goodness gracious, I would be happy to hear from you, but I've been calling you and I couldn't get an answer. Because, you know, we've been trying to have the Sparrow party, but of course, with the COVID, everything turned all mass. But I'm hoping to have mine as soon as July comes around, July the 9th. So how are you doing, man? I don't know who started this rumor. I think you started.
Well,
You sure you didn't start that rumor again to make a second topic?
Oh my.
That's a funny line.
this is ridiculous.
That's really ridiculous. I getting calls from all over. I got about hundreds of calls, morning, noon, and night. They're waking me up, asking me about the Mighty Sparrow. Man, I'm so happy to hear your voice. I'm going to record this conversation now so that I can play it for the people of St. Lucia to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say something to the people of St. Lucia to let them know you're alive and well. Today is March the 16th. Boy, I still in Valentine. No, in Valentine. It's February. Sorry, it's February. I'm so excited to hear your voice. February the 16th.
Valentine is February too, huh?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Anyway, how are you keeping? Tell the people of St. Lucia that you felt fine, Sparrow.
St. Lucia. The boy is okay now. I am okay. Thank you. The Mighty Sparrow. Supreme Serenadian Calypso, King of the World. Dr. Finger. You know, when I'm in my good mood, like, because it's funny.
Yeah. You got to speak a little louder into the phone. We're not hearing you much. Anyway, I just want them to know that you're well. You have your usual problems, of course, but we're happy to hear your voice. And I'm sure that will be great relief to a lot of people, because I want to also send regards to you from David Samuel, because he's been he spoke to me. He's one of the people that called me for you.
Yes.
Right? So
how is David doing, man?
He is there holding on like everybody else, like Snoopy, holding on like Snoopy. I hope we can see you back in St. Lucia one of these days for the Sparrow party. But you know, I know how it is.
Well, all you have to do is call my name.
Yeah, I know. Call your name, and I know that.
Just call my name, and I'll be there.
Now, of all the times I have spoken to you, Sparrow, I always ask you, how is Willie doing?
Watch this.
All right. Right. I also have some piton bear for you.
Yeah. I could do it that way. As a matter of fact, as you talk about piton, I'm starting to think to get some. I need some. How soon can I get some?
Yeah, I know. And I also want to send regards to you from the Mr. Alan Chasney and Mrs. Raquel Chasney, the former Prime Minister and his wife. They're always asking me about you.
Thank you. Give them my regards.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to call you. Now I have your new number. I'm going to call you maybe every month, once a month, to keep in touch. I don't want to harass you because I know you have many other ardent listeners and lovers.
Don't try that. Don't try that.
Don't try that.
No harassment. There'll be no harassment. And as a matter of fact, it will be a great endorsement.
It's a great endorsement. Okay. How how is Rose? How is Rose doing?
I haven't seen or heard from her for 1 month.
Okay. All right. Well, sir,
But I hope she's doing good.
if you see her, give her my love. We always remember the two of y'all. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And give us a tune to send off this conversation. Give us a little tune.
Two white women traveling through Africa find themselves in the hand of a cannibal head hunter. He cook up one and he eat one raw. It is so good if I never did. Oh.
Wow.
Congo man.
All right, Congo man. Take care. My love to you and your wife and family, and good hearing from you, Sparrow. All the best.
Tell them I say Gina and Dinah.
Satire at its best.
You can get them all for nothing. Don't make a row. Yankee gone.
Now, what about baby?
Making love one day with a girl who's calling Minnie. I pick up Minnie by the railway. And we take a taxi straight to Claxton Bay. Before we let her on the carpet, she starts checking with Pussy Bonnie.
Don't find me. Don't be.
Don't do that, honey. I never had a man to ever do this to me. Ay, do that. Put the cause razor. You're making me feel so weak. I want to hear the chorus.
Stop, Sparrow, stop.
Stop, Sparrow. Stop. All right, good. So you pronounce properly. Pronouns. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'm going to have my dinner.
Okay, there. Take care, Sparrow. All the best.
Right.
Goodbye.
Okay.
Take care.
All right.
Do you know it's until I became an adult, and when I'm not talking about in my 20s, it's in my 30s that it dawned on me really the other meaning. And I just laughed and laughed and laughed because I remember as a young girl singing this song, skipping away, going on the road, because it's lyrics and tune and you're getting into it and you're singing off key, having a wonderful time because it's Mighty Sparrow. And I had to shake my head and go, my Lord. But it's the innocence, the satire,
the number of songs
presented, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was not raw. It was not crude.
There's a friend of mine. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it was not disrespectful.
No.
How it was presented, and he's a comic. He's a comedian. Lyrics, but it was just a wonderful. Creative way, and I'm quite sure it's dying out right now. There's very few that know that art. Well, I will have to say that because we can see, music now is like, whoa, hold on, darling. You don't need to say it like that way, There's no need to say it that way. Be creative.
Yes.
Because you remember, it's all about the dollars and the world. It's not only a small village. You deal with the world. How are you going to package it so that people can buy your product?
Yeah. A lot of people, I guess, correctly said, Sparrow was so creative. and so camouflaged in his presentation of the songs. You know, it couldn't be, if you're a soldier, he could never get sniped out. You know, it take you years to realize some of the songs. And I think my friend Tex on the other side don't have no clue up to now what I was trying to say in the song.
That's okay. We'll have to off camera.
Yeah.
We'll have to. You will tell her what it is.
You know, and you know, Sonny, I have a friend. He died now, Dwight Jeremiah. He refused to listen the Congo Man song because he didn't get the concept of the song. So his notion was spouting about cannibalism, black man eating white woman, and all kinds of stuff like that. You know.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for me. I don't like that. But he didn't get it. It's many years later. We was at my home in Scarborough, and I said, "Dwight, you still don't like the song?" Because the song was played. He said, "Callis, I don't like the song. Period. It degrades black people." I said, "Listen to this song, brother. Listen to this song. Take your time and digest the thing." You know. So then my late wife Belle, said, "Dwight, come on, man. You have a girlfriend?" He said, "No." He said, "What do you mean?" You know I live with my girlfriend. He said, "Well, ask her what it means when you go home. Everyone could tell you what it means." So Belle had to give my lecture on what this song really meant. So a lot of people didn't get it. But I know this song he's singing here, Gin and Dinah. And
yes.
I had an interview with him of somewhere, but I couldn't find it today. Somewhere I had it somewhere packet ready to do, but I think I lost it. He deleted it by accident. How he came up with this song, Gin and Dinah. He was high-low, and some of the marketing place was supposed to be a commercial with these two men going to high-low to shop and come out to the grocery and stuff like that. But they didn't like this song. They didn't like the Caribe soup with the flavor in it. So they said, "No, they can't use it." He said, "Okay, I'm gonna do what I want with it, cause it's his." So he went and put it together like this. I'll give you the old time version.
Well, the girls in town feeling bad. No more Yankees in Trinidad. They wanna close down the base for good. Them girls have to make out how they could. Brothers now they pop up in tongue. In for a penny and in for a pound. Believe me, it's competition for so. Trouble in the town when the price drop low. So when you bump some Gin and Dinah, Rosita and Clementina, on the corner posing that you like is something they selling. Now when you catch them broke, you can get them all for nothing. Don't make a row. The Yankees gone, Sparrow they go now. Things bad, so hear them cry. Not a sailor in town, the nightclubs dry. Only West Indians like me or you go in to get a drink or two. And as we have things back in control, I seek in revenge with my heart and soul. Brother, when I spread the news around, just to see how them cavemen come in the town, just to meet Miss Gin and Dinah, Rosita and Clementina, down the corner posing that your life is something they're selling. And when you catch them broke, you can get them all for nothing. So make a row. Well, the Yankees on Sparrow they go now. It's the glamour boys again. We are going to rule for the spade. No more Yankee to spoil the fete. Dorothy have to take what she gets.
All of them who used to make style, well, they take in 2 shillings with a smile. No more hotel to rest your head. Like the sweat of thy brow, thou shalt eat bread. Mama, you was Gina and Nina, Rosita and Clementina. Now we call them Rosie. Let your life is something they're selling. When you catch them broke, you can get them all for nothing. Don't make a row. The Yankees lost, Sparrow take over now.
All right, what his people have just done, they have just cut our life because of this song. All right, we got to wheel and come again.
Twice.
I know deep in my heart I'm going on up, riding in a golden chariot. Trumpet song in the alarm and angels with their heavenly charm to welcome me on through the pearly gates. As we meet and as we greet, there's joyfulness throughout the street. In Jesus'
Well, how do they know?
So tell St. Peter,
the words, eh?
Tell St. Peter I'll be there with all my sins forgiven and all my friends are there in heaven. Tell St. Peter I'll be there. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. The blessed Holy Spirit guided me. Eternal life and happiness I see. Jesus is the only way, the Spirit of truth, the light of day, the Lamb of God, for him I testify. The wondrous deeds that he performed, the love he gives since he was born, and guidance to our heavenly home on high. So tell St. Peter, let me in. Tell St. Peter, let me in. I work for my heavenly bliss by walking in his righteousness. So tell St. Peter, let me in. My cup is running over, so he said, if you deserve forgiveness, you'll be spared. The Spirit of truth is everywhere. Compassion is for us to share. If you want to enter heaven's door, unto others you should do as you'd have them do unto you. To be like me in heaven, sin no more. So tell St. Peter, give me a hand. Tell St. Peter, give me a hand. I'm nervous in the promised land. My knees are weak, I cannot stand. Tell St. Peter, give me a hand. Tell St. Peter, tell St. Peter, tell St. Peter, I'll be there. With all my sins forgiven and all my friends are there in heaven. Tell St. Peter, I'll be there. Tell St. Peter, tell St. Peter, tell St. Peter, let me in. I've worked for my heavenly bliss by walking in his righteousness. So tell St. Peter, let me in. I walk the heavenly road with reverent zeal. My heart could not explode with the joy I feel. Words alone cannot express the exuberance and the happiness that I feel for that eventful day. Knowing that I'm heaven bound makes my soul a lot more strong, because my sins have all been washed away. So tell St. Peter, ring the bell. Tell St. Peter, ring the bell. Shouting out that all is well to the voice of Michael the Archangel. Tell St. Peter, ring the bell. So tell St. Peter, tell St. Peter, tell St. Peter, I'll be there. With all my sins forgiven and all my friends up there in heaven. Tell St. Peter I'll be there. Tell St. Peter, tell St. Peter, tell St. Peter, let me in. I've worked for my heavenly bliss by walking in his righteousness. So tell St. Peter let me in. Tell St. Peter, tell St. Peter, tell St. Peter, give me a hand. My knees are weak, I cannot stand. I'm nervous in the promised land. So tell St. Peter, give me a hand. Tell St. Peter, tell St. Peter, tell St. Peter, ring the bell. Shouting all that all is well through the voice of Michael the Archangel. Tell St. Peter, ring the bell. So tell St. Peter, tell St. Peter, tell St. Peter, I'll be there. With all my sins forgiven. Yes, Lord. Oh, my Lord. Good Lord. Yes, Lord. Oh, my Lord. I used to be a sinner. I used to be a backbiter. I used to be a gambler. I used to be a rambler. I used to be. When it was time for sleeping, I was somewhere creeping through a people weeping, wallowing in sin. I used to stay out every night. I used to always fight, although I know it was alright.
Hold on.
I used to
I'm writing up
be
this stuff here.
and
Hold on.
definitely unrighteous. No one could be more voracious. Help me, please help me, Lord. Wasted energy is only now I see. The Lord above was testing me. It might sound like a joke. My sins have been revoked. Mysteriously, that's how he works. Then the voice of love from the heavens above, oh, it touched my soul, and it made me whole. Hallelujah. I heard his voice, he told me, mend your ways. Otherwise I'm going to scold you. Mend your ways. I'll let the police hold you. Mend your ways. And I'll make your wife control you. Mend your ways. Follow my commandments and the Lord's covenant. Do so no longer. Control your anger. But the battle is not over yet. For godliness, my heart is set. Never give in, never give up. His blessing will fill your cup. So when you live in truth, believe yourself. Your wickedness, deceive yourself. On a higher plane, deceive yourself. Don't believe yourself. Wasted energy is only now I see. The Lord above was testing me. It might sound like a joke. My sins have been revoked. Mysteriously, that's how he works. Then the voice of love from the heavens above, oh, it touched my soul, and it made me whole. Hallelujah. I used to make me mother shame. I used to make me father shame. I used to make me neighbor shame. I know I make me sister shame. I know I make me pastor shame. I know I even make the master shame.
change man, a rearrange man, not a deranged man. I will cling to him, I will sing to him. He's the King of Kings. It's disobedience that caused me to go astray. Waywardness is what caused me to lose my way. I was so wicked and wild I forgot to pray. Man's ungrateful lifestyle is not to pray. Know the different story since I received His glory. Spiritual rhythm, I'm living in His spiritual wisdom.
Hey, stepson.
We turn somebody's video. Okay.
Wasted energy is only now I see the Lord above was destined. It might sound like a joke, my sins have been revoked. Mysteriously, that's how He works. Then the voice of love from the heavens above, oh, it touched my soul, and it made me whole. Hallelujah. Now I see the family is no longer shame. I found in the eternal flame. Give thanks and praise to the Lord. As a matter of fact, they say out loud, Sparrow, boy, you made me proud. And God is you who led the crowd. Give thanks and praise to the Lord. A woman watched me and she said, in Jesus' name, His life is led. I see a halo on the head. Give thanks and praise to the Lord. I don't know how you got so good. You know more rambunctious and rude. You're the pride of this here neighborhood. Give thanks and praise to the Lord.
Who could have composed this? Who could have composed this? This is a testimony or song from the man himself. You see why you live a little another 100 years? Yes, mighty Sparrow. Give thanks and praise to the Lord. Singer Francisco, Doctor, Singer Francisco.
Restlessness, carelessness,
Done with that.
knocking down,
Hit that.
crooked road,
Crooked road.
cussing out.
Crossing out.
Now it's dignity, integrity, morality. Glory be, glory be.
Well, we're back with Sparrow, and good again. There's two songs, one after the other there. I used to be a singer, and the one before St. Peter. Sparrow started off in the church. I don't know. You guys can turn your mics on and turn every other device you have off, and let's talk about this because, Sparrow was able to transcend in any genre of music. He was not limited to calypso. Yeah? And whatever he sang, he got the attention of people. Wherever, he got the attention of his audience. You could never be in the presence of Sparrow and have a dull moment. Yes? He was such a motivator. Yeah? He's such an encourager in everything. I mean, if you were a singer now and hear that song sing by Mighty Sparrow right now, you start thinking, this was he used to be a sinner. The life he used to live. if he changed, I can change. And that's what the testimonial about this song is. And in the end, people talk about people making he make people proud of him now, and they feel good of who he is. So I want to hear from you guys. Sparrow, where our guest, Louis, should be here soon, right?
Should be here soon.
That's okay. We will wait. We have enough time.
But I will introduce him.
Yeah, you do all that. When he come in, you will see him.
Yeah, I'm really hoping. I know they were in rehearsals.
Okay.
I'm hoping that it's done because the play is on tonight. It's the second segment of it is tonight at 7. So it's every weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. Yeah. When he come, the floor will be you do him for us. So Tex, I know this one, Mighty Sparrow.
What Sparrow?
This
That's a guy that have. I'm his sister. Is in a convent.
No, not this one. I don't know if you guys is in a convent.
I'm the Mighty Sparrow's sister. Is in a convent. She's a nun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Yeah.
But I actually grew up in the church. I mean, if you heard one of his earlier conversations, I was talking about if I had got to play it. He got in the church and somebody said when he could sing, and there was a show that was being held, and he got up on the stage and sing, and he win that night, and then he continued singing from there. And the big night, Calypso competition, he took part in it, and he win. And when he go back, they take back the money from him. He's Grenadian. He can't come train and win Calypso thing. So how he get the name Sparrow? The people go and sing on stage. They stand one spot, and he go on stage and he start jumping all over the stage. So that's came. We get like a blinking sparrow, So then after that, he give him name the Mighty Sparrow, and from there he start because Calypso never just stand on one spot and just sing. And he say no, this thing's too boring. So he go on stage and whine and do all kind of stuff on stage, get the audience going, and from there on, he never turned back. The Mighty Sparrow. Yeah, so that is who he is, and he become. But over the years, he have given us a number of good rendition, like Capitalism Gone Mad, Education, Slave,
Paul King Douglas.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not a Sparrow. It's Paul King Douglas.
Paul King Douglas. Oh yeah, Sister Dorothy.
Her name was Anne King Douglas.
Anne King Douglas. Yeah. Yes. So, Louise.
Yes.
Your thoughts?
I had the opportunity of meeting Sparrow many years ago when he was much younger, many years ago in Toronto.
89.
I had the opportunity of speaking with him at length, and he has a very, very good memory. And I was able to learn a lot from him. I was, as you know, very inquisitive, so I always ask lots of questions, and he was able to answer them for me. The last time I believe I saw him face to face was in Montreal at Taste of the Caribbean, when a tribute was done for him by Gemma Ribbon. I believe that was the last time I saw him. It was a remarkable event. I love Sparrow, great icon, cultural ambassador for the Caribbean, and he's the king of Calypso, so he has done much for spreading out culture worldwide. I think also there's some even dispute. Maybe should I have the opportunity one day is to ask him about what is this? Oh,
which one?
But he's American that sang.
Harry Belafonte.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's something there because between there.
Yeah, because I just say that because he accused them of taking the music and like melody. They take melody music in particular and never really compensate him properly for it. Mama Luka Bubu, all this stuff they came and they make it, and it seems as though they are the iconic representers of Calypso music in America. When in fact they were not. They came to the Caribbean and they exploited the Caribbean back in the days. I think David Rudder, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I stand corrected, who said that a Caribbean back in the days was just glad to get on stage and sing his song. He didn't worry about money, and that wasn't the interest at the time. The interest was just to get the song across, get on a stage to sing for the crowd to hear them. So these guys came down and they saw this. These guys wasn't worried about money. They take these songs and go with it. You know, and that is the kind of thing that happened over the years. You know.
Yes.
Yeah. So here we are, 2022. You know, and we have the Mighty Sparrow still pronouncing, people still pronouncing him dead. Delbert Baptiste.
Listen, I just think that the brother has a body of work like no other. And it's unfortunate that that people like himself, and there are many others, and we spoke previously about the contribution of Kins Douglas and other cultural icons throughout the Caribbean, that these people are not being taught in our schools, because this is who we are, all right? So Sparrow's contribution to the arts, to our culture, to our coming of age as a region, because here is somebody who sung, you know, the classic sort of calypso, but he also sung a lot of progressive calypso. He also sung calypso that attempted to hold our leaders accountable. Okay, he entertained. He sung love ballads. He sung religious songs. The brother has a full repertoire. You know, the probably few other artists, and Sparrow has to be considered one of the great artists, not just of the Caribbean, but of the world. You know, he's a guy who attracted following in all continents when it was not so easy to do that.
Yeah.
So he was popular in the Caribbean. He was popular in Africa. He was popular in the Americas. He was popular in Europe. All right. And then it was much more difficult. So I have nothing but respect for him. I'm glad that he's still around. He seems to have his sense of humor, which has been part of him all his life. And you know, just keep on trucking, my brother. You know.
Yeah, Sparrow is it, man. I know Tex is not a calypso person, so she don't he admit that she's not a calypso person. She have not been able to. She was not exposed to the thing that we exposed to growing up, and I give my sister kudos for being pure and holy all the time. But it's now we trying to do justice to her awareness.
But John, I'm not a big calypso thing, but we have to recognize the socio-cultural impact.
Look, hold on right with that. Louis, this guy is from the cultural capital of Grenada. You have the Calypso King for nine times Calypso King from his area, and this guy coming on this program, I tell me he's not a Calypso fan. Can you imagine this guy?
We'll have to pray for him.
Text. First time.
We're in good company.
First time I'm asking Tex get a candle and a bell and a shell.
I'm praying for it.
Pray for them. But
no, it's not that I don't. It's not that I don't know it. It's I grew up and very very early. I recognize the early people who in my village who were great artists, and one of them is Scarlett's father. I mean, the guy has a voice that probably equals Sparrow. I mean, he has a voice that's so crisp, and he can sing, and you think that there is an orchestra backing him, right? He's that good, you know. And but I grew up very early in my life, gravitating to jazz music, you know, and I just fell in love with it. But I that doesn't take away my love for calypso or my respect for the craft, you know. And
I know that. We know that. We believe you.
Yeah. So I
because jazz is very important to us as well.
Yes.
Yeah, you know. And it was totally accidental, right? There used to be this program on Radio Barbados called, it was 8 p.m. and it was called Jazz with Ashton Chambers. And I'm like, what is jazz? But in those, I'm real young. So I have to go to sleep before 8 o'clock. So there's no way I can. So one night I sneak the radio, got it, stayed up, and finally heard jazz music with Ashton Chambers. And it just spoke to me, and I was like, wow. And then I had to convince my mom to let me stay up to listen to Jazz with Ashton Chambers. It came on at 8 p.m., I think, on a Wednesday night. And I love it. But Calypso is part of who we are as a people. It's an important part of our culture. It has, if you listen to some of the rap music of today and even some of the R&B, you can see their roots in our calypso and our groovy calypso and all these other so it is in many ways it is the foundation for music. But also you have to look at calypso, the role that calypso played in the political transformation of the Caribbean, right? Because Sparrow as an early singer was a rebellious guy, and he took on the authorities, and the authorities of that period sort of put him in that box, because they were sort of afraid that his brashness, his ability to call them out, to hold them accountable, was going to have a wider sort of more uplifting effect on people, and that people are going to see the mistakes that they were making. So the idea that take for instance, here's a guy who has had probably 100 great songs, right? But Gene and Dinah stands the test of time, right? It stands the test of time. That song, almost everybody, if you're alive today, it doesn't matter how old you are, you know some version of it, you have heard a verse in it. And it just, but when that song came out, I think there was some attempts to ban it, so,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I didn't say no about those things with them. It doesn't matter what goes on in town on Carnival Day, Queen Show, whatever. I'm not going nowhere. My mother said to me, just come and watch. I'm not interested. Then she would say, well, go in the cemetery. I'm by your grandmother. So in the cemetery now, when my grandmother living, you can see right into the park, right into the pavilion. And she said, all you have to do, just stand up and watch it. She said, just turn around. I'm not interested. I just don't want to be part of it. She says, but you're not part of it. You're here. So just turn your head and you can see the park. I don't want to. And that's something that they couldn't understand. If a child don't want to be part of something, she just don't want to be part of it.
It just doesn't speak to you.
I want to be all what God wants me to be. So that's why I didn't.
Yeah, in many ways, we have our calling very early in life. Sometimes we don't recognize what it is.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't even recognize what our true talents are until much later on, when we would have gone through different periods of success and failure. So, and then we come to realize that, hey, this is what I'm here. This is my purpose that God has me here for. And some people recognize it a lot earlier than others.
Well said.
Right on Grenville Street there, and they're playing mass. I can just go down on Grenville Street and stand up and watch them. But as a child, I was not interested, and it was very difficult for my mom. How come like you're not interested? I don't know. I just don't want to see anything. I don't want to hear it. That's all I know. So.
But you know what? I give kudos to you. I mean, for the amount of years, and people could testify who knew you growing up, about who Tex was and stuff like that. And you remain true to right up until today. You've been on this radio station for the last year, almost 2 years now, and going to almost be 2 years in April since you've been on this radio station. And you have had about what? You have about 4 or 5 shows that you run, and then praying for people all over the world, staying up late at night praying. In Africa, in Germany, Virgin Islands, Jamaica, and you're true to your calling, and I recognize that. And you being here was a spiritual encounter, a spiritual experience, bringing you here. It was nothing that I wanted to do. It was nothing that you knew about. it was just a divine appointment that you had to be on Gemfm, you know. And for you, I always say that you being here came about because every night on my show, you will drop your prayer, my unique prayer every night religiously, and that one night that prayer came into my spirit again. That one, and you know, call text. I call her, and she answered and said, "I'm gonna meet you." The next one I call her, she said, I can't do right now. And then one day I was going for lunch, going to have my lunch, and the spirit said to me, "Go call her now." I said, "I have my lunch." The guy was kind of crazy, you know. You said, "Who you talking to?" I said, "I'm talking to God." He was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah." So I picked up the phone, I called text. The phone rang about 6 or 8 times, something like that. I was about to hang up, I said, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my." Answer the phone. James said, "Hello now." "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." I said, "You know who it is?" He said, "Yeah, the guy from Gemfm." I said, "Well, I'm an ordinary guy just calling to tell you what God told me to do. He told me to call you." Yeah. And the rest is history. She's here today.
Yeah.
And the fact that text was at her wit's end, and like for her, she could tell about his story, but the thing about it, she was about to commit suicide. She wanted to go kill herself. That day, that very day when I called her. You see? So, and God asked her to come and do the unique prayer in the station in the morning, the Thursday morning. And before I hung up the phone, he said, "Give her her own show." That was a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Tonight, you had to do your own show tonight. He says,
I remember you telling me, going over me and you discussing that conversation.
yeah. And people might think, well, God exists. Yeah, he does. And he speaks to people, and he show up when you least expect it. And he said, "Give her own show." She called it. I said, "Give me a name for the show tonight. I want to see tonight." And you come on at 8 o'clock. He said, "No, I can't come 8. I said, 8:30. He said, "No, 9 o'clock." After my Bible study, I said, "Show." And she started the show. And the show goes on. She divided into two, men and women, and different nights, Wednesday night. And she been here with me every morning. Now she has her own show in the morning called Intimacy in Worship. She and Olivet, who was kind of shy, and my wife said, "Olivet, come on, just say a prayer." Now Tex and Olivet run their show in the morning, every Monday, from Monday to Friday, right? And they incorporate other women from Trinidad, Jamaica, Africa, you know, Grenada. The women on the show in the morning with them. And not only that, the women talk about the testimonies, the things that have helped them to become better, have transformed their lives. You know, we have pastors coming on and talk about this stuff. So it's all changed, and she was the one responsible for all of that. So the shows, and then she have the Tuesday night show. She be on here with us in the morning, on Tuesday night, developing intimacy in marriage, and then Wednesday night she do her show. Then Thursday she off. Friday morning she back again, and then she not really off. Tuesday she have the financial show. Then Tuesday and Friday she have the financial show doing during the day from 12 to 1 with Great Way Financial. You know, and then soon she have another thing coming up again, dealing with another stuff. I don't know all that she knows about it, but she's doing, and God has placed her here to do this stuff. And she heard me on Saturday morning too, you know, again, and it's all good. It's all good, Tex. It's all good. God bless you. I trust God. I trust God with you and for you with everything that we do here. That you incorporate you and you're part of the movement. You know, you are almost like somebody says, Tex now become the face of Gemfm. And that is a good thing for me. You know what I mean? Everywhere you go, checks on every show, do everything on Gemfm. But today, I mean,
so we have to do the big summer reunion. I mean, by the way, last weekend I was in your guys' neck of the woods. I was in
You lie.
Yes, I was. But Louis, I messaged John, but John, I think he was in church at the time, right? And he probably got, because I could see he did not check the message, so I know he was in church, and he got. But I had a really, 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 really tight schedule. Really, I was only there for a couple of hours, and I had to go different places. I was in Toronto. I was in Whibley. Whitby?
No,
yes.
No, don't do that. Don't say
John, I will explain.
No. I told John I was coming up, so blame him. And I was in Niagara Falls.
Right close to Louis.
Okay, I'm already here.
And what's the other one? Weldon.
Tex. Pick up your stone, Tex. Pick up your stone, Tex.
I have no control. over my schedule. I honestly have no control over my schedule.
I could use a word here, Louis, to describe exactly what he just said. He said he had no control, and he had no control over his whole situation.
I had no control over my schedule. My entire weekend was planned out for me.
Bells will be ringing.
Delbert, darling. Delbert, how did you get to Niagara Falls?
How did I get to Niagara Falls?
Did you drive to Niagara Falls?
I was driven to Niagara Falls.
So, Delbert, darling, let me tell you something. In order to get to Niagara Falls, you have to pass in front of my front door.
Margaret is asking a question if Delbert came to see me. Margaret, I'm taking a married. But I know his secret.
It is that close, Delbert. Delbert, you could have stopped in and say hi to your family.
So I am going to do that. I think I will have a little more control over my schedule the next time.
Let me tell you this.
And
I've taken 5 minutes literally from the highway to where you need to go.
So where are you? Are you? So I'm trying to figure out where you are. St. Catherine or where?
No, it's when you see the bridge you went up on and come. Well, there's 2 bridges. So the first
there are
one
2
over the water.
Yes.
So you could have taken any of those exits. And
that would have been going to Cairo. No,
coffee, a juice, a soft drink.
Only text understands me. So I literally had no control over my schedule.
You heard what he said. He came and everything was already dished out on a golden platter. Yes. Bells will be ringing.
I haven't been to Canada, quite a few times actually. I've never been there in February. Oh my God, it was brutal.
It was nice.
But that's okay. You are forgiven.
I generally like cold weather tests. I prefer but that was. Okay. So I did pass. Actually, I was in Hamilton. I started to see. Well, not my friend, but I was actually had dinner in Hamilton. I had dinner in Hamilton.
Wait, can you hear this?
Oh my word!
Yes, I had dinner at some friends in Would
Wait. Seriously, no. Could you imagine if it's right next door to me?
That would have been funny, right? Wow, that.
Were you on the lower level or you went up the escarpment?
No, I was on the lower level.
John?
Well,
I am in the lower level. I'm in the valley.
Okay, so there's an event. I know, John, there's some activities being planned for March 13th in and around New York. I've been asked to be part of it, but I don't think the organization is going very, very, very well because I know we should have had a team and who are going to be panelists and whatever. Nothing has happened yet. If the event is not going to come up, I'll be in Toronto. I'll be in and around Toronto for March 13th. That weekend.
Remember, March 11th is my birthday. So if you think that you're going to come on the 13th, you have a sad thing.
No.
Are we getting together for your birthday?
Plan it for the 11th.
I will definitely be before the 13th. All depending on the activity in New York. If the activity in New York is going to come off, then I've been asked to be moderator, chairperson, whatever. I don't know yet. But if it's not properly organized, then
see, that's the thing about Gemfm.
John. Doris said, "Oh, you missed the 2:30 show."
Oh yeah, text do a 2:30 show every day as well. So and asking where Ted
I
get
get
time
the
to
I get the alert. I get the alert to my phone. So
yeah
I know when
to
she's
30
on.
show.
Yeah.
And she have different people coming up, and she had Dr. Justin Pierre, who deal with human trafficking last 2 weeks ago. This is a very interesting show. He'll be back again on our Friday night show. Saturday night, because the Friday night is going to give up the Constitutional Caucus of Grenada to do the Constitution, so with Cassandra and them. But however, um, you know, with all of that, what we do here on GemFM, with Tex being part of most of all of the shows, um, a lot of people around the world and people who have called and asked for prayer, they ask for text, they ask for, and she has become that person. But with all of that, when Delbert come up to Toronto, you have to give the GemFM crew, say, look, I don't care what you're doing, lady, put this GemFM crew in schedule. So we could get them in one
But you have
place.
to tell that. No.
I got to find that person. I got to find that person text. That person that doing the scheduling.
Yes, it's a secret friend.
Yeah, that's whoever the person is.
Tex, I'm very glad that you understand. And actually, I was very close to John's house. I was told.
You heard that? You heard that? You heard that?
Yeah. So
But if you have only answered a text message.
Hold on. Margaret Francis. What should I do with Delbert?
Everybody is forgiven once, right? So
Yes, you are forgiven.
That was my forgiveness too. That was my forgiveness too.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll have a little
Second chances.
control of my schedule the next time.
Second chances.
We forgive family.
Yes, absolutely. I'm deeply appreciative of that. But I'm looking forward to spending some time in Canada this year. I remember I had a wonderful summer some years ago in Toronto, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Okay. Although we're keeping the Black History Month alive and well, coming up next weekend with GemFM, we're celebrating Black History Month right on here. We have made an attempt to get a very prominent woman who I have met several times in Grenada. And we tried to negotiate to get her in, but she cannot do it for us this year. Hopefully, God promised that she leave to see next year. She will be here with us. I didn't call her name, I don't leave that surprise. Louis know who I'm talking about. I'll leave it there. So we're gonna go ahead with videos and stuff to highlight the cultural thing. Play some videos with Malcolm X speeches and stuff like that, and Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, and so on. We will kind of make it nice for you, some African drumming and singing and stuff like that. However, I want to say to all of us here today that Black History Month shouldn't be celebrated once a year. And those of you who listen to GemFM consistently on a regular basis on the radio, not just Facebook, you will know that I have shifted. It used to be 2 o'clock every day, 1 hour of Africanism, I call it, African Moment, I think it was, on GemFM. But we move it because texts come in, they have other things between there, so I push it into 4 o'clock. So when text show finish at 4 o'clock, we'll be doing the African moments. So speeches and songs until 6 o'clock, yeah. 7 o'clock, till 7 o'clock, 3 hours.
4:30, because sometimes that we don't finish at 4.
No, you have to finish at 4 because the other people who live in want to be part of the movement. Because
we have to pay homage to that part of who we are. I mean, two of the most profound books that I read, and actually I chose to reread one in 2021 as a young man, was How Europe Underdeveloped Africa and Growing
Dr. Walter Rodney.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, these books spoke to me like no other, you know, and in 2021 when we were still all locked up, actually no, that was 2020. I chose to reread it, and he remains so relevant. I mean, it's like the book was written only, like in this era, How did he see these things? How he was able to crystallize the problems of underdevelopment and not so we have to pay homage to our ancestors and to those who have gone before us and hopefully in this decade, that we're going to find sort of greater cooperation between the Caribbean and Africa. We really, really, really need it. You can fly from Barbados to West Africa in about 5 hours, right? But why is it that if we have to go to Africa, they insist that we go through Brussels or London someday, and then it takes us
money.
24 hours.
Do you know?
3, yeah.
I found out a couple of years ago, Gemfm was giving up a trip to India by a airline company to go to India. They sponsored the whole thing. It was a nice gesture, and I got to find out that a seat on a plane is really about $45, $50 max. You buy it from Canada, and they say Louise get 300 seats, buy all the seats on the plane. She will sell 50 she'll give text 50 to sell. She'll give them about 75, all depending on the locations and how good he been at selling before, and give the other person another set of seats, right? Hence, when you go to a travel agency, they say I only have 10 seats, and this one say I only have 25 seats to play. That's what they are given to sell, right? Yeah. And they bump the price up, right? Yeah. And to go to Grenada, I get a ticket for what? Sometimes $1,800, $1,900 sometimes, and the seat is really $45. Then Air Canada at the end of the year will give you a ticket, a round trip to Grenada for $99. So what happens? So I found out that this is what they do. So they make their big money on this stuff. So I realize that. So I know the people who do that. So if I want a ticket,
I think this is one area in our lives that the consumer has really ignored, right?
Yes, big time.
This is an industry that has treated us like I don't know. I mean, worse than dirt, right?
One excuse though, but is that they say that doesn't get enough flights to Grenada and the Caribbean.
I'm not just looking at it, and that's population side. That's always going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it in a broader sense. In that, when I started flying as a young man, first place I flew to was Trinidad, right? I can actually travel with 2 pieces of luggage at 70 pounds.
Oh, that was gone of the days.
All right. The planes are bigger now. They're more efficient. Everything, right? So why are they telling us we can't have 70 pounds and why we have to pay?
Exactly.
I mean, this is just an industry that has ripped us off. And I think it's something waiting for us as consumers, as frequent flyers, to push back against the airline and say, this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. Now we found out that the airlines make almost 50% of their profits are in baggage fees.
And I have a story to tell. My husband flew out of Hamilton to Vancouver. The same bag he came down with, he went back with it less because he brought stuff for us. They charged him. It so happened he left his keys behind to get for work and home. So he was waiting for his keys. So he left the airport, the same area. He told them he'll be right back. Went to get the keys. The plane is outside. It has not left. They said, I'm sorry, we can't let you go. So no, he said, well, can I have my luggage? Got his luggage. Now he has to go to Toronto. Went to Toronto. Now he's expecting to pay a bag handling fee. They say, oh no, you're not overweight. He said, really?
Yeah.
No. I'm just, you know what I mean? So either the scale was not working in Hamilton.
They
need a new scale.
And they have a trick that they do when you wear your bag. They want you to put it stand up. You can't put it lay down. I don't understand the science behind that, but if you put your bag laid down, it shows up a little less pounds. I don't understand why. But they always insist that you put that. Yeah, you put. You know, when they check in you, and they always insist
Yes.
that you put your bags, your suitcase standing out.
Yeah.
And somebody told me that if you put it, you know, it comes up like a pound or two left. But it has something to do with the scale and the scale and the distribution of the weight.
Yes.
You know. But yeah, they're horrible. I mean, I was in December. I was in London for just a few days, and I was traveling very light, and the bag for London to check luggage was $100, and I'm like, I'm going on it to London. What do you expect? I'm not going to carry something, and I was just carrying I got to the airport and she's telling me, you know, this. I said, this is a suit bag. What do you want me to do? It's a suit bag. All I have is a suit. You know, they wanted me to check it. And I was like, no, I'm not going to check it. No. So it's an industry. But the Grenada thing, we have to listen. We like direct service to Grenada, but it's something that we have to look at. You know.
But you know, but I was listening to an
when-
interview. I was listening to an interview yesterday with Callister Ferreira, with the airline guy who was doing the airline thing from Grenada to Carriacou thing, and who is it? Okay, let me decline this thing. Yeah, so he's saying that the Grenada government was not willing to give them the green light to do certain things in the airline industry in Grenada. So they went to Antigua and get a better deal, you know, and running the Bakeway St. Vincent route from Barbados, and Barbados ended up to doing it right now, you know, and he was giving a breakdown on how much it costs to maintain and to run an airline, and it's costly, but the Grenada government was not willing. Is now they're trying to come in now and try to put something together with them, but they was not willing to bend and to give them the assistance they needed to facilitate the excuse me, to facilitate the airline from Carriacou to Union Island and so on up the island. So now they're rethinking, and the government is rethinking their position now. But again, they have better deals with Barbados, you know. So
So this whole thing about airline travel in the Caribbean is reflective of the quality of leadership that we have in the Caribbean. In 2022, I don't get why our Caribbean office holders, I don't call them leaders, have not seen the need for us to really have a unified system, a regional airline, a truly regional airline. And that it's mapped out thing, that it's efficient, that it's safe, and that it carries passengers to the respective destination in the quickest way possible. And of course, you're going to need some subsidies from government. But part of the problem with the travel, especially for the airline industry in the Caribbean, is that the fees are so high. So the government tell you, well, we need these fees to keep the airport up, okay? But if your fees are so high that nobody's flying, then you really defeated the purpose. So I have always thought that if they reduce the fees and allow more people to fly, so instead of a plane coming into let's say St. Vincent for with 5 or 6 passengers on it, now you have all of a sudden 20 passengers. And last year, John, you know, I was involved in trying to recapitalize an airline in the Caribbean. I'm not going to mention any name because I'm hoping to do business in the future. But it didn't work out, you know, for a number of reasons. So I took a deep dive into that airline industry. And you're right, it's very complicated. It's very, very cutthroat. And but we need a regional airline, you know, and some kind of approach to what we do. The major things that we do in the Caribbean countries, including our French, Spanish, and Dutch-speaking brothers, we should all be doing it together because we are one people. You know, we are one people. If you went to Martinique or Guadeloupe or Curacao, or any one of the things, and you didn't speak and you didn't know, you covered your head, you wouldn't think that you were in any other place than any one of the English-speaking islands. We're the same people, so we can't allow languages to divide us. We have to move forward, and that's why I've been so disappointed in CARICOM. You know, it just has not lived up to its expectation. You know, the Caribbean is crying out for a new brand, a new group, a new caliber of leadership, and hopefully, in our lifetime, we'll get it.
Yeah. Well, as all things being what it is, politics will change and change will come in the Caribbean, and government who have we have to work together with other persons and make things happen. It is important for our
Yeah.
people to have a change and that we people could sit down and consult with each other and have an honest conversation across the table. While talking about conversation, we have our guest here, but before he speaks, I want to introduce that song and we go right into the interview and over to Louis. All right, Mr. Robert White, good night to you. Good afternoon, actually. I don't know why I'm thinking night.
Good afternoon, sir. You're kind of pretty advanced, man. Heading to the
I
night
know,
already.
All right. Because of the nature of the conversation, what you guys are doing now, I'll play this song in that regards.
Hey, Robert, you're making me very jealous in that bed. Man. You're making me very, very, very. How are you doing, my brother? Oh,
Boy,
look,
now it's like,
look how the guy
like
is distinguished,
All right.
Boy, it's like name like face right now. No, I actually grew it here because of my participation in the play. I wanted that singing look.
All right.
Yeah, so it came in very useful.
Okay, so here's the song. I'm going to introduce the song based on the play that they're going to play, and I'm going to put this song in right here. Yeah.
I'm a slave from a land so far. I was caught and I was brought here from Africa. I'm a slave from a land so far. I was caught and I was brought here from Africa. Well, it was licks like fire from the white slave master every day. And down on my knees, weeks and weeks before we crossed the seas to reach in the West Indies. Then they make me work. Yes, I said I work. Yes, I work. Good Lord, no pay. I toil. I say I toil so hard each day. I'm dying. I'm crying. Many times I wanted to run, but the English slave master standing there with his gun. Oh, I know he gonna shoot to kill. So I stay and I pray, but I'm planning still. I study night and day how to break away. I got to make a brilliant escape. But every time I think about the whip and them dogs, my body that start to shake. He made me work. I said I work. Oh, Lord, no pay. I toil hard each day. I'm dying. I'm crying, Lord. I wanna be free.
Yes, this show is brought to you by Cookies Delight on Benjamin Street in Grenville. And without any further ado, I just want to introduce my co-host for the day too, part of the team here, Louise Noel Ambrose. Louise.
Thank you, thank
Oh,
you.
yes.
Today with us, we have Mr. Robert White of Heritage Theater Company of Grenada. It's a registered nonprofit membership-based organization that's been operating since November of 1989. They're primarily involved in staging live performances and training. Mr. White himself has been involved with the group for 31 years. He is the president of Heritage Theater Company of Grenada. He has played leading roles, whether dramatic or comedic. I've had the pleasure of working with Heritage Theater Company with the last performance here in Canada, The Wedding. I was hired to fill the audience, actually, to fill the seats and to find a venue, which I did. And indeed, we filled the seats because we had 2 seatings back to back, and it was sold out and people wanted more. So today, I'm very pleased to see Robert face to face, even though it's not person to person, and to welcome you to Gemfm. Robert, we are very pleased to have you because you're part of an educational production that is currently being showcased in Grenada. So you're here to talk about it. Please feel free to tell us a little bit more about yourself, the organization, and the play itself. And the play is around Mr. Julien Fedor. Please.
Thank you, Louise. And I must say it's a pleasure to be on your show today, albeit to connect, as you said, face-to-face virtually. I like that face-to-face virtually. Our theater production, Julien Fedor, is quite an exercise in patience. It's an exercise in research. It's an exercise in telling our story. And I say patience because Chris himself would have toyed with the idea of doing a production. And when I say Chris, I mean Chris DeRiggs, who's our artistic director and playwright. And he was toying with the idea as long as when he used to be in school in GBSS. No, that's as we say in Grenadian parlance, that's donkey's ears now. But he never gave it up. And he was challenged by George Brizan. George Brizan is even deceased now. You know, it's a pity because I'm sure he would have been very happy with what Chris did with the idea or the challenge. And this idea he kept in his mind, and he decided to, after many years, revisit it. And even while he wrote the play and we started rehearsing, and we were due to open in 2020. And the same weekend that we were due to open, here came the pandemic. Well, we had the lockdown in Grenada that weekend. So subsequent to that, during the lockdown, Chris thought of doing Patient Zero. Now, Patient Zero was a play that was specific to the whole question of the COVID experience and who was the first patient in Grenada and all of that. It was just for the occasion, right? And so we did Patient Zero, and then we visited Julien Fedor. And just when we were about to open again, the same weekend, the country locked down again. So we decided, well, you know what, we got to wait it out, and we did. And eventually we are able now to come to stage with Julien Fedor. So we opened last weekend at Trade Center, and we on tonight, tomorrow, and the next 2 following weekends, right up to March 5th and 6th. Julien Fedor, who is Julien Fedor? For those of us who like history, will know that Julien Fedor is touted as Grenada's first revolutionary. He was French in origin. Well, not born in France. He was born in Grenada, but from French stock, French parentage. And we must know as well that as far as the history of Grenada goes, Grenada changed hands many times between French and English occupancy of the island. And in the period in which the play was set, 1795, and Fedor's rebellion was actually in 1795. In 1763, Grenada was ceded to the British through the Treaty of Versailles that was, signed between the French and the British to allow the British to occupy Grenada. Now, Fedor, coming from, as I say, French stock, was not too very happy with this and was not happy at all with how the British was running things and the kind of rules and laws that they have with respect to how the French citizens were to be treated, almost like second-class citizens in their own country. Because remember, Fedor was born in Grenada. He's a Grenadian, but of French stock. So he led a rebellion, and he had 14,000 slaves in support of the rebellion. However, they never really made it, meaning that the rebellion was crushed by the British. They had far more superior military might and so. And so the rebellion was crushed. And there goes the Fedor story. Now, we do not know, because history has not told us what exactly happened to Fedor. Some records state that he moved on to Martinique. Some records say that he drowned on the way. Some records state that he went elsewhere. Nobody knows conclusively what happened to Fedor. So we haven't sought to answer that question. But what we have done really is take what we have from the historical research and, of course, embellish the story. So now we know about Fedor's wife. We know about Fedor's father and some of those persons who, as far as history might be just a one line, apasa, right, in terms of information about them. But we had to embellish the story. We had to bring to life a very creative story that can sell, right? That can have elements of humor, albeit not a humorous story, that can have the history aptly and properly recorded. And so that is what we have done with Julian Fedor.
Okay. In this production, what role do you play?
I am Pierre Fedor. Pierre Fedor is the father of Julian and the owner of some slaves myself. And not many though, not many. But if you put everything in context in terms of land ownership and so, Grenada was divided rather into estates, big land holdings, estate, 300 acres, 500 acres, 1,000 plus acres. That's how the country was divided. So if you were lucky enough to actually own an estate, then you have to get labor to do the production. And organized labor then was slaves. You couldn't employ person because slaves they were employed, but for free. So they were working as slaves. So Julian's father, that is Pierre Fedor, the character I'm playing, did own a couple acres of land and a couple slaves as well. But Julian himself, and Julian owned slaves as well, but he fought for their freedom. So despite him owning slaves, he fought to ensure that they got their freedom. And that was one of the challenges he had with the British, that, he wanted to make sure that the slaves were offered their freedom and all of that. He never really worked out because he just wasn't successful, but he made a very bold and he brought an ambitious fight to the British, let's put it that way.
Okay. Thank you. Delbert, do you have a question that you would like to pose?
You're muted. Delbert, your mic is muted.
Oh, yeah. Well, congratulations, Robert. A long time friend, product of the same high school. Our families know each other. So my brother, congratulations. That's a piece long overdue. I've always been fascinated by Fedon, and like I say, history has not been kind to us in really telling us what happened to him. Those who claim that he escaped from the island and ended up somewhere else, and there were those who said that he was killed. But I think some more research is needed on it, because what they never told us, they did like Fedon Rebellion was just a little thing that happened, and the reality is that Fedon controlled the entire island outside of St. George's, and had he not had some people who had actually kind of known of his plans, who ended up turning and collaborating with the British. You know, he would have taken over
That's true.
he would have taken over the island, and Grenada might have been a different place today. So I'm fascinated. I hope the production how long is the production scheduled to last?
Well, we are running for this weekend, and we are going for the next 2 weekends. So we are going up to the weekend of the 5th and 6th of March. It's a 2-hour production. So we've tried our best to put centuries of history into 2 hours. It's not an easy task. But you made a very salient point, and I agree with you that, you know, history is usually written by the victors. And so some things are not always as expressive and expletive as it should be. But Federal Rebellion was no simple rebellion.
No.
It was certainly no simple rebellion. I mean, while Grenada is a small island, but if you consider, for example, we did not have, we had a network of roads, albeit not motorable roads as they might have been now. There might have been tracks and so. But the connection between all those different estates and all the different slaves where they resided, and the ability to garner support from all of them and send even communication. It shows that Federer was a strategist, right? Because you didn't have no cell phone. You can't call a man and say, watch, meet us at this junction there. Right? So you had to find a way to get the information out. You should have runners. You must have people who probably were posing as slaves themselves, but they were actually just, they were emissaries. He had to have that kind of structure. And albeit some of the guys turned against him, that probably affected the rebellion or the outcome of the rebellion. You know, he still was a hell of a strategist, and for that he must be given credit.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why I have long advocated that the Fedon and so many of our other national heroes who came, that we should have roads named after them, we should have buildings named after them, we should have schools named after them. It's high time. We know enough now, even though if we don't know the whole story, we know enough now. We know how important these people were to our history in terms of who we are, in terms of us as a people and our fighting spirit, that I'm afraid that we are probably in a generation that kind of the last generation who clued into the Fedon Rebellion. So the fact that now you are transforming a historical period and a historical act, not just in Grenada, but in the Caribbean at that time, all right? People always like to focus on March 30th, but you have to go way back when. Think about the boldness and the courage of them in 1795, right? Yeah. That time, the U.S. is just beginning to look at itself as a nation. And you have the small country in the Caribbean, a person of Grenadian birth, Grenadian lineage, who had the vision to realize that this thing, slavery, was bad for us as a people and was ready to take up arms to fight. So it's an incredible, I hope many people come out and look at it. I'll be in Grenada. I hope you guys have the production sometime in April, because I'll be in Spice Country in April. So, and I've been to some of your productions already. So I saw one of the productions a few years ago. You guys did it in I think it was in Grenville, somewhere in Grenville. And I was looking at it, and somebody who is very interested in the arts and goes to Broadway shows here, I was looking at the caliber of the acting that I saw from actors in the Heritage Company and well-known actors that I have seen in New York, and I saw no difference, my brother. I saw no difference. I saw people who would get on a stage and command the stage with that presence, like I was sitting in a Broadway show or an off-Broadway theater. So congratulations. This is a piece well worth doing. And I wish you guys nothing but success.
Tex?
Thank you.
No? All right. John, do you have a question?
You know, I yes, that question. I just wanted to compliment the entire crew for bringing that part of our history in the forefront. Not very often we have those things being done. And one of the things I've learned today, that Pharaoh had owned slaves himself. and I didn't know. You see, when we
Oh,
hear
yes, you
about
did. You did.
yeah, when we hear about Pharaoh, we hear about the liberator, not about the slave owner, But sometimes, you could own slave, but have a soft spot for the ill treatment, and you want to have a better condition for them. So I think he was advocating for better treatment. Yeah, we could have them, but treat them right, And I think to me, that was what Pharaoh was trying to do in liberating as well. There's a saying that goes, until the land tell the story of the hunt, the hunter will always be glorified. Yeah. I think that is
Yes.
what happened in the Pharaoh case. The hunters keep writing the story. And I think I heard B-Man said one time, never give nobody a pen to write your story. Yeah? Write your story yourself.
Yourself. That is correct. That is correct. And
Go
John,
ahead.
while we speak about writing our stories, in this particular instance, we are focusing on Fedon.
Mm.
But there are so much of our Grenadian stories to tell. I mean, there's so much other Grenadian heroes who need to be written about, who need to be taught about in school. We need to encourage conversations about their input, their life, their struggle, their fight. And we're not doing it. So for example, you speak of circumstances that were instructive to our whole Grenadian existence 30, 40 years ago. And the persons who are 20, 25 years, who are not around at that time, they don't have a clue. They don't know. Right? And that, I think, is a terrible thing for us as a society, because we're not developing our own, we're not telling our stories.
Right.
And that is why we in Heritage have decided that in addition to offering this to the public, we went to the schools, to the Ministry of Education, and we say, hey, we are doing this production and we want to connect with our young people. So we want to ask your permission to do a presentation to the schools. And of course, we got the blessings of the Ministry of Education. And we are doing a performance on the 25th as well, just for the school children. We're offering them half price, right? And we're saying, come connect with our history. At least come. We had to embellish some of the story, admittedly, right, to make it more palatable. But what we have not done is change the narrative. Now, for example, Fedon wife, we know about Fedon wife. We don't know a hell of a lot about her. So we had to create a character that, of course, is consistent to being somebody who can be the wife of Fedon.
Yeah.
Right? So she had to have some of the qualities that we created, that we thought she should have had, that would qualify her to catch the eye of somebody like Fedon. But we know he had a wife. But this story does, when I say the story, history doesn't tell you everything about the wife, but some things we had to create. But outside of that, we haven't changed the main narrative of the story.
Right. And that's what we say. I know you have the creative director. I always refer to as Comrade Chris D. Riggs. Yeah. Is my good friend too. I tell him I say hi, and I know you have other members. Debbie, I know she's still with the Heritage.
I will do.
Debbie is still there. Debbie Gray, I know she's still with you guys, but again, another good friend of mine.
Debbie is with us. She's not on stage this time around.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, Debbie was due to play the role of Pierre Fedor's wife, and that's the character I'm playing. Right? Okay. But Debbie had some challenges, and somebody else has actually had to rise to the role. Not challenges with playing the role, but other challenges in her personal existence.
Okay.
So she couldn't continue with the role. But she's still with us. She operates front of house on the nights of the show. So she's still very much a part of the theater company.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah. And at Gemfm, excuse me, our motto here at Education is Liberation. And you said something about going to the schools. And I think one thing about educating our people on events that surround our culture and our heritage is critically necessary for our people. You talk about the 20-year-old. I was only, 18 years old when that thing happened, And so I have seen my share, of what happened and so on. But a lot of people haven't heard it. And I think it's important for us to have a discussion surrounding that, And so the Heritage Group might be charged with that responsibility, as the word heritage comes up, to lead the field, to ensure that our Ghanaian people and our younger generation is up to breast with what our history has given to us, you know, and that people would not believed in the dark ages and wondering through a new dispensation without without information on the history, so they not repeat it in a negative way. So I think it's important for us to continue bringing those things to the forefront and ensuring that our generation after generation gets the knowledge that they so deserve to grow and to become better. Because the Bible says, if you reject knowledge, yeah, he will reject you, but not only you, but your children and your children. So it's important for you, what you guys are doing, to bring the knowledge in front. Serve us with the knowledge, and we should not reject the knowledge because it's good for us, not only for us now, but for our children and our children. So I want to thank you so much, and the Heritage Company, for doing such a theater performance in Grenada. I hope that it will be brought not only to Grenada but throughout the diaspora. And I'll be more than happy if one day in the future we could have that performance, because it's 2 hours, have a half an hour segment on Gemfm on a Thursday, Friday evening or Saturday evening. Yeah, we'll have to work on some details for that. You know what I mean? So where the people could see the performances of our people, not only this show but other shows, we could have that happening. I'll be more than happy to accommodate such an activity.
Thank you, John.
Sure.
Thank you, John. Thank you. That's
Robert, I want to. Robert, I want to.
Hold on, but let Louise was saying something to and I think.
No, I was just saying thank you, and I just wanted to wrap up the.
Yeah, Robert was going to say something, so and then
go ahead, Robert.
Right. Well, I was expressing my appreciation, right, to you, John, and to say that we certainly would want to, over time, because that's where we're going. A lot of things happen virtually now, and thanks to COVID. And we want to use the opportunity to get our message out. You know, Grenada is a limited audience. That's why we have physically traveled to Canada and the US and so. But now we can make that trip virtually. And so we want to explore the possibility of sharing through the diaspora what we do here by, you know, putting in place the effective communication, you know, medium and so, like yours and others, to really get a message out. But interestingly, you mentioned in your last discourse about the dark ages, and I laughed, you know, to myself because I said, "Wow, this man seems to be connecting with even the script for Fedor," because as Pierre Fedor, the father of Julian, I was speaking to one of my friends in the place as Pierre Fedor. And we exchanging ideas about things that are happening or not happening in the tropics, for example. And the whole question of France making, you know, decisions that are being made in France that affect the colonies, and they don't seem to be taking information or consideration of the people from the colony and what they think, but they're just making decisions in France. And one of my responses to this, right, is, you know, my friend who I was speaking to was saying, you know, things are going to change. And I said, you know, that's not so, you know, because it can happen because so many of us are still living in the dark ages, right? And I heard you mention the dark ages, and I'm saying, wow, this man seemed to have an inside loop to the whole question of this product. It's just coincidence, sir, but it's instructive.
All right. Again, you have the right director too. So I said, you know, Chris knows a lot. I've been, and I should say this because I've been to one of the production in here in Toronto. I think it was 2008, 2007. Somewhere you guys was here, and I performed up on Islington and something. I was at that show with guys up here. I'm very much interested in those cultural stuff like that. So again, bring it on. Yeah. I hope Louise will
okay, so
we will.
Yeah.
So to remind our listeners, and in particular those who are in Grenada, please go and see this excellent historical drama production of Julian Fedor by Heritage Theatre. It's written and directed by our renowned theatre director, Mr. Chris DeRiggs. So the show dates are February 19th and 20th at 7 p.m., February 26th and 27th, 7 p.m., and March 5th and 6th at 7 p.m. Admission is only $50 EC. I quote, "The casting is superb, the acting evocative, and the styling poignant, but it's impossible not to come away recognizing how little we know of our history and the absence of discourse and analysis of the key actors, their work, the outcomes, and the legacy." That was Jacqueline Mackenzie, who wrote that after viewing the first production from last week. I pulled that quote from her. So she loved it. So thank you so much, Robert, for your time. I know we had everything worked out as it should today. For you being here today, everything worked out. So all is
all right.
Thank you for being here today. So on the behalf of Gemfm, we thank you and we wish everyone, the team of Heritage Theater, a remarkable one, as they say, break a leg.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Louise. Thank you to John and right. And I'm going to take a rest now as I get ready for doing my best later on. But it's a very interesting time of my life.
All right.
All right.
All right, man. Congratulations. Give the entire company our regards and our congratulations, our deepest regards. Yeah.
Amen to that.
Will do. Thank you very much, buddy. Take care.
All right. Okay. All right.
Revolution, they cry. Everybody fighting, don't know who will die. Tuesday, March 1979 is a day every West Indian will bear in mind. When the people driven with their backs to the wall, responded in answer to Belial's call. So then the vision spontaneous was a cry. No one was afraid then to die. The people call it, old people say, young people say, I say, the Rastaman say, the NJM say, the RA say, the movement say. For justice, equality, equal opportunity, evermore we can say. Soldiers of justice are ready to fight for smooth and efficiency all through the night. And thousands of homes sleeping deep in their beds. Freedom fighters render their blood to be shed. The grace of the masses, the cry of the poor, guns of the dumb press, we saw victory too. Prophecy fulfilled when a God leaders fall. Once more did and dictate them all. The people call it, old people say, young people say, I say, Rastaman say, NJM say, ERA say, obedient shade. For justice, equality, equal opportunity, evermore we can say. Liberation at last. Long live the struggles of the working class. With patriotism and dedication, we rise every day to meet the morning sun. Forward ever, backward never is upright. bring out the pain and die. This struggle is long and we will feel the pain, but believe I'm gonna win. The people say, old people say, young people say, I and I say, the Rastaman say, the PRA say, the NJM say, the Communist say, for justice, equality, equal opportunity, forevermore great and say.
Yes, forevermore great and say Freedom Day. And you know, I'm listening to Mr. Robert White, and you know, our history is so rich, and you know, we have to get people to bring out all this stuff, and again, we have to pay homage to people who bring out those kind of theoretical performances to enlighten and to take us back, you know, as to what really happened back in that Fedon era, and a lot of stuff that we have not been told. And I make mention of if we look at Haiti, for example, is paying the price still for and all decisions still made in France. A lot of decisions that Haiti is going through. I mean, we have new colonialism. America is controlling a lot of stuff happening in Haiti, but Haiti price and suffering is the revolution, yeah, and dismantling of slavery in the Western Hemisphere. So I was reading somebody said, I think I said to Louis, do you know until 2015, the British subjects was paying taxes, and in the taxes the money was paid to the owners, the slave owners, for giving up, for abandoning slavery. They was paid. So if you're a British subject in the last up until 2015, your taxes, right? Every British citizen was paying taxes to pay back the owners of former slave owners. And saying, wow. And that was a discussion held in the Parliament of England. Yeah? Until 2015, they was paying taxes to the slave owners for the abolition, for the loss of their slaves. And not one slave got a penny. Up to today, we see we are fighting to get what they call reparation. It ain't happening anytime soon. So that is the thing. So I think we have to do a lot of this thing. Louise, back to you.
Still waiting on my family's monies. I'm not forgetting. They owe me. They owe all of us. And you know, how I would like to see it being paid back is by building schools, hospitals, roads, you know, things like that. You know, free education for our children. So if they want to go to university, any university of their choice, you know, England, you know, Caribbean, free. I think that's a good payback.
Yeah, I fair enough, you know.
It's a good equity.
They should pay it back.
Yeah, they should be funding the University of the West Indies to make it accessible to all,
there should be
all
no
our people.
questions about that. But I personally believe people, so those people in these positions have jellyfish backbones, right? And they're not true revolutionists.
Well,
you know,
I'm gonna have to use that line sometime. I love it. Jellyfish backbones. I love that one. I have to hear.
Is actually spineless. Put it that way.
Yeah, they do. You know,
it's spineless. You know, and so I think you know, I have to go further in, because one of my vision here on Gemfm is to also have sitcoms, but positive ones. So I won't talk about too much here, but it's something I'm looking to have happen. I've spoken to a couple of people about that already, to put some production together for us. So I think that would be a good thing to negotiate with my friends here. But yeah, it's a great thing, and I think we want to do that and keep doing that. I think coming up at 2:00, we'll be having the return of Pablo Rafael Paul from Sunset TD St. Max. He'll be here. The show name have been changed to the T-Top Show, Time, Things, and Places. Yes? Yes. And people. Yeah, so the T-Top Show, and his guest today is none other than Matthew Joseph, Opposition Senator Matthew Joseph from St. John's, will be here with Pablo this afternoon. He'll be joined probably around 3:30, but Pablo starts at 2 o'clock. So at 2 o'clock, Raphael Paul will be back in full color from Sunset City St. Mark's right here on Gemfm. And every Saturday from 2 o'clock, Raphael Paul will be back here.
Or 2 o'clock?
My 2 o'clock. My 2 o'clock. Yeah.
3 o'clock his time.
2 o'clock Grenada time. So if you're in Grenada right now, I'll blow my shout. 3 o'clock Grenada time. Yeah? Yeah.
That was a very good imitation, by the way.
Yeah.
You used to sell jacks?
He looked like
I've been around enough jacks people. I've been around.
Either you used to play mass, Juve, or you used to sell jacks. Which is it?
I've been around enough jacks people. Remember, I grew up in the Tonga Sodas, part of my life. I used to be on the old fish market stand there.
Yeah.
I used to be around Mr. Randall and Inspector Mother, the pastor and sell jacks. You know what I mean? So I had enough shell in my life.
He blew a few shell in his times, man. He looked like he blew a few shell in his days.
Yeah, so it's really nice Saturday morning here. I really enjoy the Saturday morning shows, Caribbean Connection, and we have to have more bring some cultural aspect of our shows going on, and starting off with the early morning part of it with my unique prayer on a Saturday morning first. Just to start the day spiritually. So text. I'm going to lead off that part on a Saturday morning going forward. They should do the prayer, open my unique prayer, say a prayer, and we continue this show. Because our show is good. You know what I mean? People loving it, and we are generating an audience. Because people say to us that, and say to me in the car, and other people say, you have a very good show. Your shows are really nice. We love it, and we keep listening to you all the time, and you're growing and getting better. So we want to keep up, and increase and get better at what we do. Harness our skill set a little bit more and do better and do greater things. So again, I want to thank all of you for being here. It's almost 1 o'clock to take 1 hour break. Go get a sleep.
Yeah.
It takes us going to some sleep. Text overtime.
I'm gonna try.
I was saying something last week and I've been looking into it. Text is a multi-millionaire. But Gemfm doesn't have the money yet to pay her for she shows.
Yeah.
I was doing some investigation, right? And Louis, you might be a witness to this, right? I'm doing Trevor Nova. And I Googled it. How much it costs to pay a television and radio host per year? The lowest cost of price you pay is $4 million per year. Per show. For 1 hour. A night. Here is Tex doing several shows here. And the value, her net worth, and her value for a show, one show is $4 million per year. And she that's the minimum. And she have over 6 shows doing on Gemfm, hosting those shows. That's how valuable. Checks worth over $12 million, almost $20 million a year. But Gemfm don't have the money yet to pay, but God will supply our needs. And we will pay checks. So if we use
Amen.
Yeah. I believe that, not because she does a tremendous job. And I want to give her a round of applause. That's our
absolutely.
She has done a lot of work, and she has continued to do work and bring a lot of people to the shows that she have, and bringing out women who talk about their stories, and people hear the stories of the women. Some of them, tech show is big but keep your clothes on. Wait, again, you repeat the line for me, Dex?
Integrity.
Women of integrity.
All but keeping the shirts on.
Right. So when as a woman, when you come to tech show, she'll ask you questions. And she will make sure that your answer is behind all. There's no shame in the game. Once you come, she will warn you. When you come and show, any question will be thrown at you. You'll be prepared to open your mind and heart to answer questions and whatever. That's how they roll. It's a behind all show when you come to tech show. And Veronica, Irvin, and Doris Morin, what's your co-host name again in the morning? Olivette. Yeah, these women and Teresa Dale Kelly do the integrity show with her. They break all. Teresa have learned so much from the show. she talked about how she was able to look at things differently. And Dr. Pastor Rodney and some of the men that she had on the show, they was able to open up to text. Probably haven't even opened up to their wives about things they talk about on the show. So they was great all before text. And
Delbert, don't forget Delbert.
Delbert had shed a tear on the show and all. You know what I mean? So we get Delbert to cry on the show. Can you imagine that? We had Delbert shedding a tear.
I have no comment.
Plead the fifth right
now. Margaret Francis, Delbert had shed a tear on the show. And we have other men who came and say, they never had, and they don't know who their mother. We actually have about children don't know their father. Have never seen their mother. Men never saw their mother. Don't know who their mother is. And on this show, we get to that men suffer and hurt twice as much as women are hurting. So Tex was able to bring out all these things in those men and get them men to talk about the upbringing, talk about being sexually harassed on this show. On Tex show, the heart-to-heart show, men who talk about they are doctors today, but they have this past that haunts them. Have the sexual encounters with men, the uncles and the father, aunties and so on, who sexually harass them. And they have come on this show, and the Text Money show, heart to heart, and expose and talk about all the encounters that they had. And
don't forget the doctor that he became a doctor, a gynecologist, and his first real thing of being a doctor, he couldn't even handle it.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's a very prominent doctor in the southern South Africa, southern Caribbean.
Yeah.
It's what it is. But I'll tell you something. The time is now 2 minutes to 1. I got to here because I have to take a race to get the Pablo hour coming and get ready for Pablo, set up for Pablo to take over from here. Well, I'm gonna close with this show.
Delbert, John, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Louis. That was a great piece with Robert. I haven't seen him actually since I left Grenada in 2020, so it was a good piece.
Wonderful.
We go a long way back. Student council. I mean, our families know each other from forever. And
yes.
We're involved in student council. We're from the same village. Yes, we're from student council. Both he and Hubert back in the days. Hubert and the rest of the family. So that was great. And they do great. Yes.
Well, all right. Yes. Let's see who I could come up with that we all more or less know.
All right. That's great. Yeah.
Maybe Sparrow.
You never know. We never know. We could have him here. That'll be nice. Don't forget.
Yes. I'll make a call and get that organized.
Yes. And don't forget this evening, guys. We have the marriage show seminar this evening from 5 o'clock right here. Broadcast here on Gemfm. So if you marriage having trouble, if you plan on getting married, you plan on getting divorced, you want to tune to Gemfm this evening, right here on Gemfm. The show is starting right here.
Does that mean that I have to tune in?
Yes, you should. You should come on the show tonight. It was a really nice show last night.
Not you.
Yeah, I can hear Tex laughing in the background. She knows something, but she's not telling me. But that's okay. We're all good. We're good. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. I'm having all the
I can't do Sanky. I ain't saying nothing. I ain't calling body name. I just blow your shell.
No. I cry.
Oh my God. All right, guys.
Well,
love you guys.
All right.
Take care. All the best. Have a great afternoon.
Yeah. Father back pay. The man talked us. Dr. Hollis Liverpool on Gemfm. Louis, thank you so much again. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Looking forward to doing business with you.
It's always my pleasure.
All right. Dr. Hollis Liverpool.
My grandfather, why come you install my estate? Cutlass in and lifting them heavy grapefruit crate. Me grandfather walk the life out for all them French Creoles.
cutting cane, picking coffee and burning coals. But while my grandfather was perspiring, the wealthy French Creoles were gathering. Now their grandchildren in luxury and making style on me and me 5 picnics. I want my grandfather back there. You hear what I say? They owe me grandfather back there. You call them where I'm from there. I want me grandfather back there. I want him Mr. Nive. They owe me grandfather back there. The Votal Guns and Dilemma, O'Brien, Grant and O'Connor, fill their bank books and build their empire from the sweat of my grandfather. My grandfather worked like a horse. It was blood, sweat, tears, and brute force. No house, no land, no bank book, no pension to leave for his grandchildren. I want me grandfather back there. They owe me grandfather back there. When we pour manger, I want it, Mr. Nive. My grandfather, hot lacho and dance cocoa by Mr. Gibbs and Trisha. My grandfather had to cut grass, feed and clean the horses and run errands for the wives of his white bosses. And while my granddad outside gardening, the wife inside the white woman kitchen, cooking, washing, starching, bleaching, ironing. And on she had a pin, piece of white linen. I want me grandfather back there. I want him Mr. Target. They owe me grandfather back there. I want me grandfather back there. Your family say your play. They owe me grandfather back there. Mr. Galton, D. Nobriga, Mr. Booth, Hawkins and Fletcher left their bank books for their son and daughter. Not a cent from me grandfather. Me grandfather worked like a horse. It was blood, sweat, tears and brute force. No house, no land, no bank book, no pension to leave for his grandchildren. I want me grandfather back there. They owe me grandfather back there. Si moi pas trouvé l'argent, moi t'ai tué. Used to carry me to Manzanilla, to dry cobra, for Gaston Gigans, the French planter. Sometimes we would walk from Dodge Road to Tortuga about 12 miles to pick orange for Mr. Adrian the Votal. When William Gordon founded Gordon Grant, the grandma mixed cement to build that plant and taught dry goods in Crockers backed by the tons. For the Oprahs and Sons and the friend Alstons, I want my grandfather back there. They owe me grandfather back there. All them French Creoles, I want me grandfather back there. They owe me grandfather back there. Alston's working till he get old. Grandpa get so much hot and cold. In the night if you hear the old man groan, arthritis dry up all the bone. No medicine, no doctor fee. The society card empty. The bury in Lavante Cemetery unceremoniously. I want me grandfather back there. War declare today, they owe me grandfather back there. À présent c'est les pour moi parler. War declare today. Ngozi must manger.
dedicated to your grandfather and mine. For the deeds of perspiration that flowed from their foreheads. And for Isaac Liverpool, my father, who worked hard beyond the call to give me
my country is going to hell in a handbasket. And it looks like if somebody tells somebody that this country could be run by propaganda alone. Help, somebody help. I wasn't going to say nothing, cause I know what some of all you gonna say. But I can't stand by any longer and watch my country go in this way. The affairs of the state in chaos, causing citizens too much pain. So to hell with who vex and whatever come next, I ain't staying quiet again. No, this land is yours, but it's mine also. And the future lies in our hands. I want you to know that this government that we put in charge, incompetence is creating problem. I say down with them, don't hesitate, down with them. No time to wait, down with them. They must understand that this is the people's land. Yes, they must understand the power of any land resides in the people's hands. Hey. The incompetence is too blatant, and cronyism is the cause. Nepotism is running rampant, going against all decency and laws. Where's the spiritual and moral values that brought you to rule this land once more? You are the ones who talk about corruption, but now we're more corrupt than before. Lord, this land is yours, but it's mine also. And the future lies in our hands. I want you to know government that we put in charge, incompetence is creating problem. I said down with them, don't hesitate, down with them. No time to wait, down with them. They must understand that this is the people's land. Yes, they must understand the power of any land resides in the people's hands, man. Now reach the depth of despair. Crime has taken over our land. Law enforcement corrupt and impotent, and you can't come up with a fighting plan. Rape, robberies, murders, kidnappings. Over 4 years have gotten so bad. Apart from the bombings we have in town, you're afraid to come out in your own backyard. This land is yours, but it's mine also. And the future lies in our hands. I want you to know this government that we put in charge, Lord, incompetence is creating problem. Down with them, don't hesitate, down with them. No time to wait, down with them. They must understand that this is the people's land. Yes, they must understand the power of any land resides in the people's hands, man. Cry shame on the Calypsonians are talking about from country to tongue. You boast we are the voice of the people, but look how we letting the people down. When other parties are in power, we could highlight all their problems, but this one destroying the country, we have nothing to say about them. Lord, this land is yours.
but it's mine also. And the future lies in our hands. I want you to know this government that we put in charge, incompetence is creating problem. Time to down with them. Don't hesitate, down with them. No time to wait, down with them. They must understand that this is the people's land. Yes, they must understand the power of any land resides in the people's hands. That's it. I'm tired with a set of plan, and none of the plan ain't working. Somebody up in Whitehall must be joking. Done with them. What I say? Done with them. What I say? Done with them. Done with them.
Man, the true spirit of the Caribbean is reflected in 2 days that we call Carnival. When a West Indian have a problem on them 2 days, well, nobody just can know them after all. No man, we just take all we problems, put them on a shelf, come out for a good time, enjoying ourselves. What we wailing in a brass band, or jumping to a steel band, or simply whining to pizza. Good God, we inside it, man. Moving, we hand and we jumping up and singing the songs that it land. Hey, man. Yeah, hey. Oh, oh. If you're not gonna ordinary fella, but carnival, they can't recognize the man. He collects the garbage, he cleans the canal, but carnival day, well, he is a general. Man, he has more stripes than a zebra when he is a lad to a section of the bandit commander in charge. Yes, sir, waiting in a brass band, jumping to a steel band, simply winding to pizza. Yeah, good God, inside the band, moving we hand and we jumping up and singing the song of the land.